So I wanted to make a video, just because, again, I got an insight, so I thought it would be good to share it with whoever comes across this. Um, so, um, sometimes I talk about special needs, parenting, special needs families, and how difficult it is. I've made videos about that in the past, and tried to explain my son's therapy and different things like that. So if anyone has seen those videos, they would know that it's obviously not easy. It's not it's a very uncertain thing. I literally made a video that's titled "Always on the Alert," because you literally always have to be on the alert. When you could have a good day and the child will have a great day, a milestone is achieved, and then the following day or even that same day something terrible might happen or something not so great, right? And also special needs and autistic children can regress depending on stress, depending on seizures, depending on all kinds of things, right? Even adults can regress, if they've experienced a shutdown. It can cause them to regress, loss of skills temporarily, but lasting for even weeks, can last for months. It's it's not easy. It's not easy to gauge when we're talking about special needs, or when we're talking about autism, or any type of delay, a developmental delay. It's not like a linear thingy. It's extremely unpredictable, and ups and downs and this and that, which is part of the reason therapy is so important, because then the therapist is gauging, they're graphing their changes in the child's routine, they're keeping track of everything, they're keeping track of the effects that different motivators have on the child, different life events have on the child, because they can gauge with the therapy activity if how many attempts are successful for the child, with different goals and stuff, and how fast the child achieves them. Then they'll realize, okay, this is good, this is a good time, this is why. They can graph it, right? And then same with therapy for adults. If you see a therapist regularly, they can help you figure out why things are, why you're regressing, or what's best for you, or they can as an outsider, they can almost in their heads they have a timeline where they can see changes, and they can tell you whether it's for the good or for the bad, and things like that. Anyway, the long prelude. The reason I wanted to make the video was because I just realized that I was really happy and energetic, compared to how I've been for weeks, maybe months. And not just happy and energetic, content, and I can think straight, and I'm not frazzled and panicking over everything, and I'm not crying every day and whatever, right? So, and I was wondering what's the change, and then I realized it's two things. So one thing is that my son is advancing properly, and it's been quite a gap since something bad happened. So he is, he said on the weekend, he came up to me and he said his first proper word to me. He tapped me and he said, "Hey," which he's never done before. Before therapy, before any of this, he couldn't even think of coming up to me to ask something, right? He would just be on his own, and not, so I would have to always intervene and look in and check up on him all the time to make sure. But he actually came up to me and he tapped me and he said, "Hey." And so that, first of all, that's his first word. And second, just the idea that, just the fact that he came up to get me. He wanted me to go watch a video with him, I think, or I forgot why it was like, I think it was time for his meal or something, and he was getting me, but he's never done that so that, and then alongside he's starting to eat more varied foods, which he's never done, and more regularly he's taking bites of food sometimes, and you know, just overall he's advancing. So that is one reason why I'm feeling so like great, and like not like amazingly great, but I'm not like, it's not like there's a huge anvil on top of me like weighing me down that I can't even move, and I'm just always like it's like, it takes so much effort just to like get up, right? So that considerably lightened my stress and my like whatever, just the difficulties day to day. It made it easier for me to get things done because I'm not like freaking out and panicking over everything, just because I see that my son is making gains and progress, and you know, it's very promising. And then the other reason is that I've been getting more sleep. And you know, with special needs families, sleep is also very, you can't count on it, right? Especially with like autistic children, because their body doesn't produce melatonin, and you know, the what's it called, the biorhythm of the body is not like consistent. And you know, they found that like the production of melatonin for sleep in the body and different things like that, it's not consistent, so the child has trouble sleeping. And then often you have to supplement, or you know, figure out ways. And not only that, like my children would wake up with different problems like acid reflux and whatever, right? And now I'm getting more sleep. And you know, if you go, even if I even just go 2 days with like proper sleep, I can think clearly, and I'm not like easily getting stressed, and I can I even got this book from the library today. It's called Solving Sleep Problems in Children with Autism Spectrum Disorders, a guide for frazzled families. And the reason I got this book is because, God forbid, you know, if they start having sleep trouble again, I'll have to know these things. But yeah, so my point of the video was that, you know, special needs parents are always, there's so much always on their plate. They're always thinking about so many things. They're always worried. Even if it seems like they're doing nothing, it's like they're weighed down. They're always weighed down. They're always on the alert. They're always required to be there. You know, anything can happen. You know, an emergency can happen day to day, or you know, just the fact that they don't get enough sleep affects them. The fact that their child isn't progressing or is regressing, or has, you know, gotten injured because of a side effect of like, you know, seizures, or a side effect of whatever, the child isn't doing well, like these things, and not getting enough sleep, like it's like these things weigh you down so much, and they just crush your brain power, so you can't think properly. And you were like very like, my emotional regulation was like so bad. And now that I'm getting sleep, and now that I can see that my son is like actually progressing, I can handle things, and I don't like you know, I don't jump to like the worst case scenario and get overwhelmed. And like I can read, like I can open this book, and my reading comprehension, the words are actually going into my brain. They're not just like slipping through like a you know, like a sieve when you sift like tea or something, the water seeps through it. So the same way my mind is like a sieve when I don't get enough sleep, and when I'm worried about my child so much all the time for years, like my mind is like, even if I read something, it's not going into my head. I have to you know, I have to read things again and again and again, like, so just these two small changes made such a difference in my state of mind, where I'm not like, you know, blaming myself all the time, or just, you know, turning all that stress inward, which then makes it makes you so weighed down and bogged down that you can't do anything, you can't think straight. You're just always like, you know, hating yourself for no reason, and you're just like, because you know, if you don't get enough sleep, and if you're always worried about your child and blaming yourself, you know, it makes life really difficult. So so I just wanted to say that, you know, people don't realize, but if you have a child with special needs, then you yourself have special needs, even if you technically don't. Like, yes, I have autism, but it's nothing severe. I mean I can handle it, type of thing, right? I mean I have learned to handle a lot of aspects, but I mean it's not as bad as it is when, like, I'm worried about my child regressing or, you know, suffering, or when I'm worried or thinking about every day-to-day little complication that happens, and, you know, making sure that, you know, he's not being abused by anybody, or, you know, that people aren't neglecting him in any way daily. You have to make sure of every little detail, and keeping up to, you know, and then also not getting sleep. Like, if you don't get those things, then you yourself start getting special needs, because then you're always like, you're so sensitive, and you're so like freaked out all the time. So yeah, you know, if you know someone who has a child with special needs, you should consider that, you know, they're dealing with so much that you don't even realize, even if they're not like telling, like, you know, even if they seem fine in their lives, and, you know, they might be really well off, they could be like, I don't know, like billionaires, but these things would be weighing on their mind all the time. So, you know, they need so much support, and like, it's like they themselves have special needs, which their family and friends need to understand and take care of, like more support, more like understanding, more patience. I'm sure like people have had to be so patient with me. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching.